Daf Lamed Vav Amud Aleph will begin Lamed Hey Amud Beis, 2 lines from the bottom. We learned previously that they were Tekeya on Erev Shabbos, and they did the final Tekiya Trua Tekiya, and then we said that they had a safe place where they put the shofar away, because you are not allowed to carry the shofar lefi shein metaltal lo yasa shofar v'lo yasa chatzaitzers. The shofar, both the shofar and the chatzaitzers, are considered to be muksa, and you can't be metal to them. They're both considered to be muksa. What is the difference between a shofar and a chatzaitzers? A shofar is curved. Chatzaitzers are like a trumpet, they're straight. So whether it would be a shofar or chatzaitzers, both of them are considered to be muksa. You can't be metal to them on Shabbos. So after the tekiyas, they put it in a safe place on the rooftop, and he did not carry it back. The tekeya did not carry it back to his house. Frank the Gemara, you're telling me that they're both considered to be muksa. Both a shofar and chatzaitzers are muksa. I vatanya, we learn in the brisa, shofar metaltel, but chatzaitzers ain't a metaltel. That a shofar is metaltel. That a shofar you could carry, and chatzaitzers you can't. But a shofar you could. And previously we learned that they're both considered muksa. And over here we see that a shofar is metaltal. Now the way Rashi is learning, there is a big machlokes of Rishonim in the sugya, but the way Rashi seems to be learning is that a shofar, according to this brisa, is not considered muksa at all. It's not considered muksa. A shofar has a use for it. It's not considered a kli shemalachta le'isr, even though it's also used and primarily used to be tekeya, which is also on Shabbos, and for one might think that it is a kli shemalachta le'isr. Nevertheless, this brisa holds that since a shofar has alternate uses, which we will see shortly, therefore it is not considered a kli shemalachta le'isr because it has alternate uses. But a chatzaitzers has no alternate uses, and that is considered to be muksa. So we see over here that a shofar is metal, chatzaitzers and metaltlen. Amar Rav Yosef lo kasha. It's a difference between if it's a yachid or a tzibur. If it's a private person and it's his private shofar, so he can use it to scoop up water. Since, like we said, the shofar is bent, is bowed, it can contain the water. So you can scoop up water and feed it to a child. So it has an alternate use. But a chatzaitzers are straight. So it cannot be used as a receptacle. It can't be used to feed the child water. It has no other alternate use. So therefore, it is considered to be a kli shemalachta le'isr. Now, if it's a yochid, he has his child, he would now use the shofar to use it to give water to his child. So it has an alternate use. But at tzibur, it's used exclusively for blowing of the shofar, blowing of the chatzaitzers. So even the shofar has no alternate use, and therefore here we're talking about a tzibur. It belongs to the public, to the tzibur. Even the shofar would be considered to be muksa because you would not use it for anything else other than the tekiyas, and that's a malachta shleisr. What is the alternate use for a shofar? Why are you saying that a shofar is not muksa? Because it has an on mayachazi. What is it used for? You can use it to give the water to the child, to scoop up the water and have him drink from it. So for a tzibur also, yes, even though the primary use is to be tekeya, but they also might use it to give the water and scoop up the water and give it to an ani, a child who is an ani, as Rashi mentions, because sha'alat tzibur lefarnasai, it's the tzibur's responsibility to support this poor child. So therefore, even the shofar of the tzibur could be used and would be used for alternate purposes. So why would that be a difference? Why would we say in one brisa that the shofar is not muksa, and why we say in the other that it is? What would be that tzibur and yachid should not make a difference? Dirshu, and additionally, the same we learn in the brisa, kishem shemetaltlan as a shofar ka metaltlan as a chatzaitzers. Just like you can be metal to shofar, you can also be metal to chatzaitzers. You can be metal to both of them. They're both mutter. You can be metal to both of them. Money. So who's the man domer? Who's this going according to? According to this brisa, it's both of them are mutter. They're all mutter. So who would be this going like? The Gemara answers, Elo loy kasha. No, it's not a kasha. We have to resolve these three brises in the following way. Harav Yehuda, Harav Shimon, Harav Nechemia. We have three different Tanoim, have three different opinions on muksa. We have the shita of Rav Shimon, who is mekel on muksa. He's very lenient on muksa. He holds muksa only in very limited cases. And Rav Yehuda, who is more machmir in muksa. Then there's the shita of Rav Nechemia, who holds that ein kli nitel ela letzarach tashmisha. You can only carry a kli, you can only move and carry a kli only for its designated purpose. So even if you have, for instance, a knife which can be used for things which are mutter on Shabbos, which essentially, therefore, is not muksa, but you can use it only for its designated purpose. But you can't use a knife for things that normally it's not used for. It can only, any kli, even a kli that has permitted uses on Shabbos, can only be used for its designated purpose. It can't be used for things that it's normally not used for. So therefore, as follows. When we said that you can carry both the brisa that says kishem shemetalton, it's a shayfer, kaf metalton, chatzaitzers, you can be metalton both of them. That's the shita. That's going like Rav Shimon. That's going like Rav Shimon, who's mekel in muksa. Now this is lefi shitas Rashi. Other Rishonim argue, but lefi shitas Rashi, what he means to say is, therefore, that even a chatzaitzres, which does not have an alternate use, it's not considered muksa according to Rav Shimon. According to Rav Shimon, it's not considered muksa even though it doesn't have an alternate use, but we don't consider this as a dover muksa. That's Rav Shimon, who's mekel in muksa. He's mekel in muksa. He's machmer in other types of muksa. He's machmer in the muksa machmes chasar and kis. If something would involve a loss of money, if somebody would handle it, there he's maida. But for instance, in this case, he would not hold a muksa. Rav Yehuda is more machmer. So Rav Yehuda says that a shofar you can be metaltal. A chatzaitzas you can't be metaltal. A shofar that has an alternate use is not considered muksa. A chatzaitzas that doesn't have an alternate use is considered muksa. Where we said that we can't be metaltal neither a shofar nor chatzaitzas, you can't be metaltal either of them, that's the shita of Rav Nechemia. And Rav Nechemia holds that you can only be metaltal a kli l'tzarach tashmisha. You can only be metaltal any kli for its designated purpose. Now, what is the primary designated purpose for a shofar and chatzaitzos? For both of them, it's to be toikeya. Toikeya is also on Shabbos. So therefore, there is no use that you can use it for on Shabbos, not a chatzaitzos, not a shofar either. Because any kli can be only used for its primary purpose, and the primary purpose over here is something which you can't do on Shabbos, is to be toikeya. Therefore, where we said you can't be metaltal either of them, that's the shita of Rav Nechemia. And that's the way Rashi learns it. Tosfos argues, however. Tosfos says that even according to Rav Shimon, a shofar would be considered a kli shemalachta li'aseh. He also says that a shofar would be kli shemalachta li'aseh. However, Rav Shimon holds that a kli shemalachta li'aseh you can be metaltal l'tzorach gufu mekaymai. A kli shemalachta li'aseh you can be metaltal it if you need it for its own use, or if you need the place where it's at, if you want to move it away because you want to use this place that it's sitting on. So a kli shemalachta li'aseh you can be metaltal it. Even if it is a kli shemalachta li'aseh, you can be metaltal it but only, and it's restricted to l'tzarach gufay u'makayma. If you need the item itself, and you need it for the place it's resting on. So therefore, when we said that they're both mutter, it's Rav Shimon. However, it's limited. You can use it if it's dafka l'tzarach gufay u'makayma. So that's when they're both mutter. Now, Rav Yehuda says that the shofar, yes, it's a kli shemalachta li'aseh, it's mutter l'tzarach gufay u'makayma. But the chatzaitzos, since it has no use whatsoever, Rav Yehuda, who's more machmir and muksa, he says even l'tzarach guf mekayma, the chatzoitzes will be also. So that's the brisa that says shefer is muter, chatzoitzes is also, but that's only even the shefer l'tzarach guf mekayma. Now Rav Chemia holds, when we said, he's the one who said you can't be metaltal, not a shefer, not a chatzoitzes, because he holds a kli is only nital l'tzarach tashmisha, the primary, the designated purpose. You can't be metaltal for any other purpose. He's the one that says that they're both awesome. Umay shefer nami chatzoitzes. And when it says shefer, what it means is chatzoitzes. Now we're going to discuss the language, the lashon. In the first brisa that we brought down, it says that kishem, just like you're not metal lafi she'em metaltal lo yas a shefer lo yas chatzoitzes. Lafi she'em metal, you're not metaltal lo yas a shefer lo yas chatzoitzes. In that brisa that we are attributing to Rav Nechemia, it says you're not metaltal, not the shefer, and not the chatzoitzes. So the Gemara is bothered by the language over here, because if you're telling me that you can't even metaltal the shefer, well, certainly you can't be metaltal the chatzoitzes. So why are you telling me you can't be metaltal and not a chatzoitzes? It should be just the opposite. You should say you can't be metaltal the chatzoitzes and you can't even be metaltal the shefer. So it seems to be out of order. So the Gemara is saying no. What it says shefer, it means chatzoitzes. It means chatzoitzes, it means shefer. Ki Rav Chisda, Dam Rav Chisda, Hani Tlas, Mili Ishtani Shemaya, Mi Bechar Beis HaMikdash. These following three things, the names got interchanged. So really, when the brisa says, Lefi Shem Metalach Leis shefer, at that point in time, people started calling, when they used the word shefer, they used that term to refer to chatzoitzes. So when they said Lefi Shem Metal V'Lois Shefer, what it means is you're not Metal to Chatzaisis, V'Lois Chatzaisis, they meant Shefer because those terms were interchanged. After the time of the Chorban, these three things, the names were interchanged. Chatzaisis, Shufra, Shufra, Chatzaiser, they interchanged the names. The nafkamina is when you have to take a Shefer of Rosh Hashanah. So, and that time, in that period of time, you would tell people you have to take a chatzaisers because they call a shefer, they call it chatzaisers. So if you're telling people what to take, you'd have to tell them take a chatzaisers, which in that time it means a shefer. Arvat tzavtzva, tzivtzva, arava. They also interchange the names of arava that you have to take for the dalar minim of the arava. There is a similar type of plant called a tzavtzva. They also interchange it so when you have to instruct the people for the dalar minim that you have to take, you don't tell them an arava, you tell them a tzivtzva because at that time, that's how they referred to the arava. Nafkamina lelulav. P'sara p'sursa. A p'sura is a large table, p'sursa is a small table. P'sursa, p'sura. And p'sursa, p'sura. But they interchanged it. So at that period of time, what was formerly called a p'sura, a large table, they called it a p'sursa. And vice versa. The nafkamina is mekach that if you're intending to buy a large table, at that time, normally earlier you would say psura. Then at that time you'd have to say psura. So if you're selling it and you want to sell the small table, then normally previously you would say psura. At that time you have to say psura. We can also add to this list of what was interchanged is hayvila. Havlila, Bekasi, Bekasa, Havlila. The behemoth has 4 stomachs, and initially the second stomach was called a Bekasi, and the third stomach was called a Havlila. But again, they interchanged the names. In the case for a treifa, if you had a needle that's found in the wall of the Beis HaKaisis, the Mitzad Echad Kshera. If it only penetrates one side of the wall, so it has a very thick membrane. It's very thick. So the second stomach, the Beis HaKaisis, if it only perforates onto one side of it, it would still be kosher. It wouldn't be considered a treifa because it wouldn't be considered that the hole went straight through, that it perforated to the other side. And if it's only on one side of the membrane, it's not considered to be a treifa. So the halach is that if it's in the Beis HaKaisis in the second stomach, if it's only on one side, it's kosher. But Mishneit Stodim it's treifa. But on 2 sides, it would be treifa. But on the third stomach, even on one side, it would be treifa. Now, when you're telling over the halacha, at that period of time, they interchanged the names. So you'd have to switch it around, because if you sell them that a basic kaisis on one side that it's kosher, they refer to the third stomach as a basic kaisis, and therefore the halacha would be incorrect. So therefore, you would also have to switch it around and teach them and tell them that machad and nimsa ba'oive, that hoivlila, that it's kosher, because they interchange the names between the third and the second and third stomach. Amar Ravashi af anu noimar. We can also add another to the list of what was interchanged. Bavel Bursif, Bursif Bavel. The names of Bavel and Bursif were interchanged. What was previously Bavel is now called Bursif, and Bursif is now called Bavel. Lamai nafkamina legiti noshim. What's the nafkamina? It's for giti noshim, because the get has to actually record the name of the city of the woman. It has to be actually recorded, and therefore, when they write the get at those times, if she was from Bavel, they have to write Bursif, or vice versa. You have to write the accurate name. So that's another one that was added to the list. Hanralach b'mem madlikin, hanralach b'mem madlikin, hanralach b'mem madlikin, kir shesiku b'kash v'ova, noisan aleha tavshan.